I am the DJ. I am the host. Welcome to Love Ultra Radio. Now we are the modern R&B mix show, and everybody keeps asking, "What is modern R&B?" That means we go through the full spectrum, the full Black experience, the diaspora. That also means, yeah, we're into jazz every year at the Atlanta Jazz Festival. And our featured guest today, Tony Hightower. Welcome to Love Ultra, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. What's going on?
It's a good look. It's a good look. I'm in Atlanta. Don't worry about the hat. The hat means nothing, right? Tell me about Atlanta. Let
We
me
love
just
y'all,
start.
man. I love the NY.
The Atlanta Jazz Fest, day one, Saturday, May 27th. You're gonna be on that main stage. All eyes on Tony. First and foremost, you ready for that?
Hey, man. I would like to believe so. I think I am. Been doing it for a long time, and it's what I love to do. It's one of the places I feel I am most comfortable. And it's actually I find it more comfortable to perform for larger audiences than it is for smaller ones.
Gotcha. That's what it is. An album that released last year. It is called Legacy. It's
Yes.
featured in several highlighted publications. Salute to all the media partners. Tony, I heard some of the songs when I was driving home on I-20. We're going to get into the songs that I heard later. But one of the top songs that I heard playing on Big Up to the Community Radio Station, WRFG, Love and Happiness. Definitely has a jazz swing to it. So tell me about that. That one song.
You know what? So how I started doing like those types of songs and swinging them was, I have my background is R&B. You come from a hip hop R&B background, but I always had a love for jazz. My mom was an established jazz vocalist here. She was known as Atlanta's jazz and blues diva. So that's how I was introduced to all of the different genres of music. So anyway, though I loved it, I didn't know a lot of jazz standards, the songs that you typically hear, because most jazz artists, it's just like a certain bodies of work, like if you're in R&B, everyone expects you to know Superstition, or there's certain songs you should just know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I didn't know a lot of them. And so I had opportunities for doing shows, and I would take songs that I did know, and we were like, yo, let's swing that. And it started to work. It really worked. It went over well. And so later I was like, I need to record some of these songs. And that's kind of how that happened. Love and Happiness being one of the first ones. It was really Can't Hot Love. And then later, did Love and Happiness and whatnot. Yeah, man. And I love Al Green. I mean, who doesn't,
Come on, there you go. There you go. Not just because the South loves it in that form and fashion. Nations love it, like our nation, North America. Yes, very high standard when it comes to an Al Green song or Al Green cover. But that jazz swing, that little bump that you guys put to it,
Word. I'm glad you dig it. And you know what? That was something that was born out of necessity. Mm-hmm. However, it is something that's also a little bit of a niche. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I want to do is like, I wouldn't be the only one, but be one of the many people that help bridge the gap, because, a lot of people imagine or, just assume that they don't like jazz. They haven't heard it, or they think of it one way. And it's done so many different ways. And then sometimes it's just about being introduced to it in someone that looks and remind, or someone that you feel like you are connected to. And then it opens you up to at least give it a shot. You know what I mean? So hopefully that can be, hopefully I can be a conduit for that. You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. Tony Hightower is our guest. We're talking about the album Legacy. One more song, just like you just preempted us to. Yes, it got the Earth, Wind, and Fire sample. That's that album Gratitude, but the arrangement is beautiful. Can't Hide Love. Talk about that a little bit more.
Oh man, that was the first song we did. So my drummer that started with me, Henry Conaway, he had heard an arrangement of it. It was a saxophonist that did it before. I can't remember his name right now. I apologize for that. But Conaway told me about, yo man, let's try this arrangement of Can't Hide Love. And it was a little bit slower, but it was swinging. Bam, 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 bang, you know, was swinging though. And so we did it. And so from performing it over the years, I kind of got how I do it. And we developed, you know, the way we wanted to do it. And then I got my friend Melvin Jones, who has done all of the horn arrangements. He wrote all of the horn arrangements. Wrote one to Can't Hot Love, and we got in, and you know, we just made it happen, man. You know, the trio is Kevin Smith on upright bass, it's Kenny Banks Jr. on piano, Henry Conaway III on drums, and then the horn section is Melvin Jones on trumpet, who writes the arrangements, Mike Burton on saxophone, and Wilbert Williams. You can actually see them right now playing with Usher out in Vegas.
Nice. Very good company. Right before we go into the next song, let's talk about that. Atlanta's melting pot. Yes, we understand the Babyface and LaFace years, right? We understand So Def. We've seen the transition of the Dungeon family. And I mean transition meaning elevating and opening up the South music. But Atlanta, you can find anybody who's very talented in music at the Publix, the Kroger's. It's a great city.
Yeah. It's happening here now, man. It's, you know, and we're very blessed to have had a really long run. It doesn't seem like it's about to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
And like you said, the likes of LaFace Records, So Def, Dark, you know, Organized Noise. That was my introduction. I was in a group and we were signed to Organized Noise, and that was the vehicle for us getting a record deal. That was my introduction into the record into the recording industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. You know, they laid a foundation. It was a scene here already, and I think that's what made people come here, because you had the likes of the SOS band, Brick, and people from Atlanta already, and we had a really vast local scene of people that were budding, you know, that were strong, and so people loved Atlanta, but definitely LaFace and that whole movement just put a magnifying glass on us. And they had so much talent, but it was so much talent here. They got here, and they, like you said, they could go to the store. Everywhere they went, it was good talent. So they had I was just speaking to Bryant Reed about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about that. They're doing something to tell the story about that. But yeah, man. You know, it's a lot here, and I'm blessed to be here. I thought about moving at one point, you know, especially with jazz, because jazz is really, you know, strong in New York. You know, that's most people would say you need to go to New York.
You go to Harlem, you go to Manhattan.
Absolutely, you know what I'm saying. And I was contemplating that. My mom was ill, and then later my grandma. But you know how God works. It worked out because I'm as an actor, I've worked here a lot. And so I'm okay, and you know, hopefully we'll see what's next.
That's right. I'm going to ask you about 3 different words, right? And these words could mean anything to you in music and in life, right? And we're in Atlanta, and the word is called authentic. Now, Tony Hightower, you got to be authentic. And it means something to you to stay authentic to music, your life. What does the word authentic mean to you?
Being true about whatever I'm doing, honestly. I mean, you know, if I'm like, and we'll just put it on music. The first part of my life, I was R&B, you know, and that's all I ate, you know, drank, slept, you know what I mean? That was it. That was Mr. Jump Around, take your shirt off guy. That was me, you know what I mean? And then I had a rock and roll period, but it was like, they were things. It wasn't me trying to do it. It was just really where I was in my life and what I like to do. You know, you take chances. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And then even when I started doing this jazz thing, a lot of people didn't understand it because I had been known for the R&B, and I still had people wanting, you know, people seeking me to do records. I mean, you know, big producers that are out, but where my love was different at the time. You know, I wanted to do something different musically. I wanted to be challenged in a different way, and it may not have made sense to a lot of people, but I was being authentically Tony, and you know what I want to do. So authentic, that's just what that means to me, man. Being, whether you dig it or you don't, it's me, or whatever I'm doing. You dig what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love it right there. There is no wrong answers. We got one more word.
yeah.
I've been asking some of the other talented artists that's going to be on the Atlanta Jazz Festival 2023. The word is representation. Now, they're going to say, well, I mean, he represents Atlanta, but he really represents the Hightower family, his mother, his grandmother. Representation. How important is it to be like, yo, I was Dunn's family? Like, we represent. How hard is representation?
Well, I mean, I'm a native of Atlanta, so on that rep in Atlanta, man, I can't help but do that. When I'm very relaxed, and if I'm, speaking somewhere, you will absolutely hear that I'm from. I'm putting on my best right now, not my absolute best. I'm from Southwest Atlanta. I'm from Swats. You know what I mean? I'm proud of my city. I'm proud of all of the things that we've done here. I'm definitely a part of that culture. I'm on a lot of the records that people know Atlanta for.
Yes, sir.
Just to name a few. My group, that's us singing Soul Food with with Goody Mob. That's us on synthesizer for Outkast. That's that's me singing backgrounds with Ricky Bell on the Atlanta remix of "Tell Me When I See You Smile Again."
Yes,
It's like so many Atlanta hits. So and that's not to brag or boast. It's not like that. But when you say Atlanta, I love Atlanta. And the thing, when people talk about old school Atlanta, I'm old school Atlanta. So it's a big deal for me to represent Atlanta in the way I'm representing it now. I want people from Atlanta to be proud of me being from here and my evolution. And then on the other side, I represent, the whole reason my record is called Legacy was in honor of my mom. My mom was a huge deal here in Atlanta. She was an icon here, and the city recognized her with her own day. October 29th is Theresa Hightower Day. Let me say her name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Theresa Hightower. I used to go watch my mom do these jazz festivals. So it's a really big deal. I did the jazz festival before, but I was on one of the smaller stages. So this is my first time being on the main stage. So it means a bunch to me. I want to represent my mother and her legacy and keep it alive and start my own. So yeah, man, represent.
That's right. His name's Tony Hightower. One more of these words, and we'll get right back to one more of these songs. The word is called discipline. Now, of course, we got a lot of elders who are listening, and they're going to be at that jazz fest, and it's like, but Tony looks a little young, make sure you play game. And then discipline as a Black man growing up in the city of Atlanta. What does the word discipline mean to Tony Hightower?
Man, so much. From the music standpoint, you have to be disciplined. What I do, I can tell you about my road. When I was younger, I used to do things that didn't necessarily take care of my voice the best. Would be on me and talking to me about, hey man, this is your livelihood.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I finally heard it, and I started to change those things. Some people, everybody, they may not need to take care of their voice the way they do. They don't sing. I do. So I have to be disciplined. If I want to do this for a lifetime and provide for my family, then I have to have that discipline. You have to be disciplined just to be successful in here. I mean,
it's a business.
In this business, period. You can't let it consume you. You know what I mean? Be in the business, man, and not let the business do you, whatever, you know what I mean? And then just as a man, we learn discipline, some of us later than others. But you realize that you have to have discipline if you want to achieve and be successful, period, man. So it's very big to me. It's something that I didn't have my father. Now my mother did a great job with me, but we know sometimes the men provide a different level of discipline.
That's right.
So it's important to me with my children and anybody around me that I show them, I teach them that from things that I didn't do and that I now know to do, or things that I did do. So so I mean, those are two different facets of it, but so those it's just you gotta have that.
Gotta have it. His name is Tony Hightower. Tony, I'm gonna need to cash app you about $20. All right. Tony, I was driving on I-20.
Okay.
Tell me on the radio. Gee, baby.
Oh yeah.
Not good to you. Tony, it is lighthearted, but yeah, let's get serious now. That's a very good song when you're driving with a special person and you like, Tell me about that, Tony. I gotta give you $20, man. Tell me about that song.
Well, I'm glad it worked for you, man.
Yeah.
That was our aim. One of my in jazz, because I have lots of different influences, but in jazz, the first voice that I loved and I emulated was Nat King Cole. And that's a Nat King Cole standard. G baby, ain't I good to you? Ironically, later in life, Mr. Freddie Cole and my mother were really, really good friends. Freddie Cole is, I don't like to refer to him as Nat King Cole's brother because he's an icon in his own right. Yes, but a lot of people, if you don't know, then that's how you will recognize it. But so he became a good friend of our family, a friend of mine, and my mentor. He's he told me, when I made my decision to go down the jazz path, I talked to different people that I respected and got their opinions and their direction. And he gave me some obscure songs to listen to and try to really understand and get it. Of course, I'm still learning, but then he also encouraged me to write. So my original efforts, I wasn't even planning on writing anything, because a lot of times in jazz, lots of people just do those songs that I mentioned earlier, those standards that we've heard, and they just do their rendition of them, which is great. But he was like, yo, we need new songs. And I've always been a songwriter, but I came up in R&B and, and hip hop and all of that. So I didn't know I had the capacity. And one day, God started, bringing those melodies to me. And I've written some things that people thought were, of that time. And that's the biggest honor you can have, to think that I've written something that's a standard. You know what I mean? So
I love it. I love it. I love it. That album is out now, all streaming platforms. Definitely you can get it straight from Tony. Once again, he's going to be at the Jazz Festival. We only have him for a couple more minutes. Can you talk about having a team? Because yes, you could have the talent, be the songwriter, take care of your voice, just like you said, but maybe no one really taught us how to deal with a manager or a booking agent or social media. Talk about having a team as a good jazz artist.
Hey man, well, no man is an island. I mean, and that says it all. Right now, I don't have a record label. So so my team is extremely important. I have a small team, but we've been effective as much as we can, and we want to do even more. Yes. But if I were trying to do this all on my own, man, I'm sure there are some people that are successful and that have that are good at, I'm not the computer guy. I don't really want to be on Instagram or TikTok. It's not really my thing. I got on it because everybody was like, of course that was years ago now. You have to have Instagram. Like when I was touring with Tyler, I didn't know I should have been taking pictures of everything, but I felt like a spaz taking. That's how I would have looked at it. Like, why am I taking pictures all the time? But then you fast forward and it's a must. What you would look at and think a person is tripping on itself, or you would have looked at, it's necessary to be successful now. Yes. So it's two parts. You have to continue to go with the flow, learn what's new. And sometimes your team can do that, because if it's just you don't know. You're focused on your one thing, because what I like to focus on is making the music, coming up with creative ideas. My strong suit is not the other thing. You know what I mean? Once I get it, I can do it, but I don't imagine those types of things. Oh, I should post here, I should do that. So it's good to have somebody to help you with that. So a team is extremely important.
Extremely important. Thank
I'm
you.
looking to expand mine. Anybody that wants to help me, come on and let me know.
Love Ultra Radio, the audience. Come on, let's try to help them out right now. A couple more questions here. Tony Hightower, yes, your R&B history, right? Yes, the accolades and the success. And someone's gonna say, yo, Tony, that was the right age. You had the right look, right? We know you got the right voice. Come on, Tony, jazz.
Right.
Explain when you hear it for our young people who are in school, they're developing their maturity and believing in themselves. Can you talk about when you know this is not what I want to do, but this is what I want to do? Can you explain how to nurture that feeling?
Yeah, I think it's just I think it goes back to when you said before. I think it goes back to the word authentic. Mm-hmm. At the time, I had some success with my group, and I did some things, and for me at that time, the way the music was, it wasn't my favorite at the time, and so I didn't want to, like, if I had gotten with some producers and did those records, I don't want to have to perform songs that I don't like to do every night. That may not be important to somebody else, right? Because it can't afford you a lot of success, and so sometimes I've questioned that, but I love what I do. I love this. I enjoy it. I feel challenged by it. I believe that it can do for me what that genre did. And when you see things like Samara Joy winning a Grammy last year, or this year, when you see that, it gives you that shot in the arm. I'll share with you guys now. This will be the first. I haven't posted it or said anything. When you get a call from somebody, and this happened like about a week ago. I haven't posted it. I'm trying to get ready to share it. But when you get a call from, I'm also a vocal coach and different stuff. So there's an actress, Kat Graham, that I know. You probably recognize her from Vampire Diaries. She was the black girl in Vampire Diaries and done a lot of stuff. And I went to LA with her to do The Voice. She was on The Voice, and so I went with her to coach her for that. And while we were there, we were trying. She's good friends with Quincy Jones, and she's always tried to connect us. But we didn't get a chance to get together there. But I got a call last week from her saying, "Check your voicemail." And I have an audio message from Quincy telling me to keep going and telling me he likes my music.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? So in moments, like that, you get a shot in your arm, like Samara. I'm just being who I want to be and who I feel I am. Yeah. So hopefully that if I keep pushing, that's gonna give me success. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what I would tell anybody that finds themselves, doing anything against the grain. Sometimes you need to do that, but only that. All of the people that have broken out and they went left when everybody was going right, it's a gamble.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And for me, where I am in my life, it's just, I want to be true to myself. It's not, of course I want to be successful. I want to be wealthy, and I want the world to, we never do something for ourselves. I want people to love the music.
Right.
That's up to God. I'm going to do everything in my power to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to let God do the rest, man. And so I might have veered off a little bit, but
no, that's what we call Love Ultra, right? We appreciate that part right there. One more question, because this is grown man music. This is grown man jazz music. I might have to hashtag that you are different. We are in a different space when it comes to jazz. There's some aficionados that say, all right, but your swing got a little too much hip hop in it.
Right.
But we're gonna see that you were cut from a different cloth, because you had the acting cloth. Cut that a little bit, but you can bring it back. So I appreciate your diversity in music as an artist. So there's no wrong answers for these interviews here, bro.
Word. I mean, and that's like even what you said about, I know that my brand of it, and even sometimes the way I look, I wear shades. I'm usually suited when I'm on stage, but I am not typically what you would think, especially for the style of jazz I'm doing. I mean, because you got cats like Glasper, you got all these different folks that they from hip hop, but their music is more of a mesh of that hip hop. So I guess you correlate that easily.
Right.
But sometimes because I'm swinging, maybe some people maybe think it's a little what's the word, a little too progressive or whatnot.
Exactly.
And that's okay. Sometimes you may think that, and then sometimes people think that in the beginning, and then they find themselves liking it. Sometimes they never love it. But that's okay. I just have to give it. I have to serve it the way I know how to serve it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, I will say now. I mean, that stamp of approval I got. I mean, I'm gonna. It lets me know I'm doing something at least okay. I mean, his origins were jazz. You know,
right, right, and composing and arranging.
Yeah.
Someone hears that
to the rest, but him and Miles, and that's what he did originally. So for him to say that he knows who I am and likes what I do, that's a major shot in the arm. So I've said it now, but I'm gonna post it on my page and stuff later.
No problem. No problem. His name is Tony Hightower. Once again, we're gonna see him day one, main stage, Saturday. It's a big stage, Tony, featured on Atlanta Jazz Festival 2023. One more question before we let you move forward. Let me first say, how do they get in contact with you? How do they support you and support Tony Hightower?
Yes, please follow me on Instagram. On Instagram, I am at THE Tony Hightower, the Tony Hightower. I also have one, the Tony Hightower Standard. I mean, Tony Hightower Standard, at Tony Hightower Standard, excuse me. And then that'll be changing shortly. But if you follow me now, you'll see what it changes to. You can also find me at Tony Hightower online. The Tony Hightower, like www. The Tony Hightower. All of my records are on on all digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. The first record is called The New Standard. My second record is entitled Legacy. I also had a Christmas record. Go ahead and get your copy now. It's
perfect. Sir.
That's entitled This Time of Year. And if you follow me, you'll see all of my booking information. Joycelyn Dawson. You can email her at Dawson Joycelyn. That's DAWSON JOYCELYN at Gmail. So yeah, man, that's how you find me. And please support me. I appreciate you. Like I said, man, I'm out here. I'm hustling on my own with a small team. I don't have a label as of yet. So all of the support is definitely greatly appreciated.
Definitely appreciated. Like I said, see him at the Atlanta Jazz Festival 2023 again. But again, the main stage on Saturday.
3 p.m. Come all day.
All day.
On at 3 p.m.
That's right. That's right. And this is the last question before we let anyone move forward. There's things that you like, right? And there might be something that you love, but we want to know that ultimate love. And this thing that you're doing, this jazz music, this music as an artist, just in general of life, what do you love ultra? What does Tony Hightower love ultra?
First, can I tell you something? I'm also a producer. So that was back in the day. I used to produce. I learned to produce, watch, and organize noise and all of those cats. But I used to have a production company with my good friend Scott Chris. And the name of our production company was called Ultra Records. I mean, the Ultra Beat Boys, excuse me.
Wow.
The Ultra Beat Boys. So every time you say Ultra, and that was all everything I would say would be something Ultra all the time. Yeah. So that's just a little side note.
That's right.
But so can you help me one more time? What do I love? When you say that,
I mean, because people say, hey, I love food, but I love my family. I love the community. But there's the ultimate love. What's that ultra love that you love ultra?
My ultimate love. I mean, it would be, that's hard to just say one thing. I love music. I love the transference of energy from me to the crowd, that thing you cannot describe unless you know, anybody that does that, they understand. And sometimes the audience gets it from watching what they want to see. So, you know, I love that, but I also love my family. I love to laugh. You know, I'm super silly. I don't take myself too seriously. You know, so much to love, man. I love good food. I love, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to just put in one thing, man. But I can say, as far as music is concerned, I love. It's just like when grandmama cooks, or whoever, because I love to cook too. So when you make something and you watch somebody enjoy it, you know, like, you know, a wife cooking for her husband and she sees him and he's grunting, she feels, you know, amazing, you know. So that's how I feel when somebody really digs the record. If I'm at the show and I see people, that's one of the things I love about jazz. I love to the R&B thing. I love dancing and being active and all of that, but I also love just performing for an audience that just came to listen and just want you to engage. I mean, all you have to do is, you know, engage, and it's not about a spectacle. Not that there's something negative to that, because I like that too.
Right.
But I am enjoying that I can just come sing. And that's it. So, you know, I love that. Yeah, man, I could name stuff I love all day. You know what I mean?
Perfect. This is the first TruVersation. We don't call it a conversation, it's a TruVersation.
I love it. TruVersation.
Tony Hightower. Thank you for taking the time. We're gonna see you out there. I'm gonna cash app you the $20.
My man.
10 come from her, 10 come from me.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. I look forward to meeting you in person. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please keep supporting me. Keep supporting this wonderful channel and everything that he's doing. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.